While we tend to focus on Texas music musicians here at Hello Texas, we're also just as interested in Texas music photographers. And it's a little known fact that Texas music isn't confined to the borders of Texas.
It's not.
So, that being said, from Kansas City, one side or the other, the owner and operator of Wildflower Soul Photography and one of the top concert photographers in the nation, I'll go that far, Miss Kaeliegh Grace.
Hello, Texas.
Hello, Miss Grace. Thank you for joining me tonight. It's great.
Uh, Thanks for having me.
You're coming right out of a big concert last night. How was Cody Johnson? Talk about that.
That was that was really emotional for me for a lot of different reasons. I had some light bulb moments, and it was just a full circle moment. It's kind of the story of how I actually got into photography. Um, but the show itself was held at the Silverstein Arena in Independence, Missouri. They had played in Wichita, Kansas, well, in a town close to Wichita, Kansas, the day before. And so it was Cody Johnson headlining, and then Jesse Robb opened and John Wolf opened. And it was 7,000 people arena, and it was sold out. And we had some really nasty weather Friday and Saturday, so it was like kind of sketchy as far as how everything was going to be. We had some ice and some snow,
Wow.
and yeah, and ice is not uh, safe to drive in. Snow is fine, but um,
We don't know
so
down here.
yeah, I learned that the hard way due to Mother Nature one year. But anyway, so it was 7,000 people, and a lot of great energy, and everybody did great. It was Cody brought his energy like always, and Jesse worked through some technical issues and did a fantastic job with his integrity and just being who he is as a person.
He steps up. Do you get to get backstage and meet any of the guys?
Well, my pass was all access, so I had that opportunity, and I didn't go backstage until Cody's set and tried to get some pictures of the guys then. And when I was running around during John's set, I ran into Jesse, which was cool. Um, so got to talk to him for a few minutes, like reintroduce and familiarize him with name and face and all that. So that was cool. Like right before Cody's set, all three of them were back there, and so I did get a picture of all three of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I know that Jesse and Cody did a duet together on Jesse's album, I believe. That's a cool picture to get.
it was a cool picture to get. Uh, I don't remember who it was on Cody's team was like, "Come on, come here, get your camera ready, take this picture." I was like, "Okay."
So you don't shoot arenas often. Yeah, that's one of the first times.
That was the first time I've ever shot
Wow,
an arena gig, so it was incredibly full circle and very special moment to have.
absolutely. So how did you become a concert photographer?
So I lived in Texas all the way up until 2014, and then moved up here in 2014. And I never had the opportunity back all those years to go to any shows. And so it was in 2015, I think, I started going to shows. And one of the first shows I went to was seeing Pat Green at this small venue in Kansas. And that kind of just snowballed into me going to shows. And I would always ride the rail and have my cell phone and take pictures. And one of my friends from Texas, who's not very big into music and all that, but I've known her for a long time, she was like, you know what, you should pick up a camera and start taking pictures. And it was something I swore I'd never do due to my past. I was like, no. And so one of my concert friends, 2018, invited me
Man,
to a show. It was January 12th, 2018, and it was at this venue in downtown KC called the Truman.
that's 2 years ago today.
Yes, so it gets
So
it gets
you're 2 years
no wait,
old. You're
it
two
gets
years
better.
old as a photographer.
No, it gets better.
Okay.
so so he invited me to this show at this venue in downtown KC called the Truman, and it holds 1,200 people. It was 2 years ago today. It was sold out. It was Randall King opening for Cody Johnson.
Wow.
So we were maybe 10 people from the front. And so I took this picture and I posted it on Instagram. And what was it? The Tumbleweed Music Festival had commented on it.
Wow.
And at that time, they hadn't released the lineup for Tumbleweed that summer. But that summer, he was headlining. And so they commented on it. And so I responded back and I said, love the opportunity to shoot Tumbleweed. And they said, wish granted. And so I was like, oh my God, okay, well, maybe I need to get a camera now and like start actually shooting shows and not like just go to Tumbleweed and just be like completely blind to what I'm doing.
So you were thrown into the lions.
Yeah. And so last night, it was a complete full circle moment having gone to that show 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
And then having last night. So that's just how it all happened. It's not been long at all.
It blows me away that you've only had a camera in your hand for 2 years and you are where you're at right now. It's incredible how far you've come in that short amount of time.
Thank you.
And before this interview started, I started going back and looking at all your photos and going back to the Brandon Ryder show and the Josh Ward at Green Hall and the stuff from when I first met you early in your career.
Yeah.
And so everybody knows you and I talk online all the time.
Right.
But this is the first time we've talked face to face.
Right.
So I feel like I know all your stuff. I look at it all the time.
Right.
But it's you went from and Tim and I talked about this yesterday. You went from maybe struggling with ISO and settings to, all right, I got it. And you just bang. I think it was probably Tumbleweed or maybe Railbird where you could see you figure it out almost instantly. Like the set from one day was better than the day before, and the set after that was better and better. And then there's nothing I can tell you anymore. So it was cool to watch. So you're a festival photographer, in my opinion. That's where you shine. Do you agree?
I thank you. You know what? I really love it. Honestly, if I could be a festival hippie year round, I'd totally do.
Yeah, I would too.
It's a lot of hard work and not a lot of sleep, but it's very rewarding and it can be very challenging.
So Tumbleweed 2018 was your first festival?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. It was 6-ish months into me having picked up a camera.
Wow. That's scary. That's got to be scary, but you pretty much nailed it. And then you did Railbird. That's where I started noticing, oh, she's flying now. How was Railbird? That looked like a fun, different kind of concert.
That was so much fun. They had announced that, and it was a big deal because it was on Keeneland grounds, which is the racetrack in Kentucky. They had never had an event there other than the horse races. So it was a big deal for that. But it's a very affluent area. There's a lot of history there. But what they brought into it was just a very uniquely diverse, well thought out set of artists. And
who played?
I'd have to look. I don't know off the top of my head.
Was Tyler Childers in that group, or was that Gary Clark, or was that Exit
Yes,
111?
it was. It was
Okay.
Tyler Childers, Gary Clark. It was
That's right.
the Racketeurs. It was Brandy Carlisle. It was the Wooks. All the Robert Earl Keen. Mavis Staples.
You shot him twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Tyler?
No, Robert Earl Keen. I believe you have.
More than twice, because he was at Tumbleweed, and then I shot him in November, December last year, and then at Railbird.
He's one of my favorites. So
he is too. Yeah.
Would you rather shoot the huge big stage, the festival stage, or the intimate, more like a Green Hall, which one do you prefer? That what kind of show?
I like them both because there's different elements of both that really push me and help me grow. But honestly, I've discovered that I really like the challenge of a high energy show.
That was going to lead me into Exit 111 because that's that's where you just left Texas music in the dust, and you had Slayer and some of the bands that you got to shoot, and the hair flying with the heavy metal was just fun to see those photos.
The jump shots, that was cool too. I remember I had wanted to shoot that since like finding out about it. Then I found out I got it, and then I started talking to some people who really knew that music, and I was thinking, what the hell did I get myself in?
So so how do you get access? What do you do to ask? And apparently everybody just says, "Yeah, come on." Uh, but for some of us, it's not that easy. They say, "Nah, not this time." How do you get consistent gigs like this?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's luck or I don't know. I am a part of an online publication, and so they reach out and ask for the request, and then if we don't hear, it's finding other avenues and how can I get it. I'm very persistent and I want to make it happen.
You hustle more than anybody else, I believe. I mean, there's some guys here in Texas that just have the connection and can walk into the back door and nobody stops them. But
Yeah.
you've hustled, which has been really impressive to watch.
Well, and you know what? You bring that up, and that's something that Josh Ward has told me because he came to Manhattan, Kansas in November, early November. It's like 3 hours away from KC. And like it was him one night with Jesse opening, and the next night was Whiskey Myers in KC. And, I pulled him aside and I was just like, you know what? I looked over my pictures from Green Hall and I'm sorry. Like, I shouldn't have gotten that, And like, and he was like, but you know what? You deserve to get it because you hustle and you make those connections and it means a lot to you and people see that. And, when the Texas guys come to town and making them strawberry bread and, making them have that feeling of home away from home.
Right. Anybody that you haven't got to shoot yet that's on your radar that you're looking forward to seeing that may not be coming yet, but that you're circled on your calendar that if they come you'll go see them.
I have like my calendar done for everybody that's supposedly coming to town that I'd like to shoot. So obviously it's those guys. But if we're talking Texas music, I'm really hoping, and I think it's true, but I'm really hoping that Randall Kane brings Tristan up when he comes to town later this month. And if that happens, I'll be really excited because I've been listening to his music and I'm really liking his stuff and where he's going and how he's presenting himself as a person. He's somebody that I can really get behind and support.
You talking Tristan or Randall?
Tristan.
Yeah, but
Because
both of them are quality.
well, I remember when Randall came to town, he played a venue called Knuckleheads, and there was maybe 15 people there. And then, now he comes to town and it's grown. So it's cool to see that growth.
Well, Tristan has. I went to go see Jake Worthington at Copeland, which is in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and Tristan happened to be opening, and he blew me away. And he's got one of our favorite bass players, Michael Mode, in the
Yeah.
band. So
Yeah.
if you had your choice, Texas country music or Texas, I keep saying Texas country music, Texas music. Let's keep it right, or the rock and roll Exit 111 shows. If you had to, if they said get on the bus and you're going to go on tour for 6 months with, which bus are you getting on?
That would depend on the Texas country artist, honestly. But if they said, "Oh, you don't get to know who it is," I'd get on the Exit 111 bus.
Yeah, too much excitement there. I think.
It's so much of a challenge, and I love a good challenge. There was a couple of sits and Exit that really gave me that challenge, and like there was a photographer there that I had met at Railbird. He was a big help that weekend, and like walking over the main stage and giving me a quick 411 on some of the artists and everything. And I remember just two of the sets just being blown away and walking away going, oh my God.
What other photographers do you follow that you aspire to to become like? And that's probably a bad way to phrase that question, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. Two of the ones that I follow probably would be two females. Honestly, it'd be Denny Soto from
I
Texas.
love Denny Soto.
Finally got to meet her this summer when she came up. Just as amazing in person as she is online.
Absolutely.
Extremely talented, very helpful, just warm and incredibly full of knowledge. Very
I,
underrated. She
yes,
could
I
jump on a
agree.
tour bus and
The first year we shot Coke Fest, or just 2 years ago we shot Coke Fest. She showed up, and I just about lost my head when I saw her out in the crowd. Not, I mean, I knew who she was, and I don't even remember who was on stage at the time. I went and found her and made sure that I met Denny Soto, because that's somebody I've been following for a long time as well.
yeah. She
Who else?
was actually the one who invited me into the group because
Really?
she had been following me on my personal Instagram, and like then when I created my other one, she was like, you need to join this group and everything, and just became one of the first sources of support and encouragement and help for me.
The group you're talking about, Texas music photographers online.
Hmm.
That's kind of how we got to know each other as well.
Hmm.
Really good, supportive group of Texas. It's not even Texas photographers, because it goes beyond the borders.
Yeah.
But the people that shoot Texas music, some of the best photographers in the world are on that site, and you included. And I wouldn't have said that a year ago, but now I'm looking at your stuff in awe.
So two things you had asked me about photographers that I follow.
Yeah.
Um, the other one that I follow is her name is Cora Wagner. She is in, I don't know if she's in Tennessee or Kentucky. I met her at Railbird and then I saw her at Exit again, and she's a Bucky's fan. So that was our connection because in the pit of Railbird for Tyler Childers, I had my Bucky's gear on, and Tyler's drummer and Tyler himself commented on my Bucky's stuff, and she was there. And so we connected on that, and we've actually chatted beyond music festivals and stuff. And she's just become a really huge source of inspiration and help. She shot Bonnaroo. She shoots festivals all
Wow.
summer. Very talented, warm person.
So besides music, what do you like to shoot?
I haven't had the opportunity to do much, and I want to. I want to branch out and try some other different things. I did that boudoir shoot this December. That was fun. Branching out and trying all different sorts of things. That's my one big goal. I am supposed to be shooting a wedding come this fall, for a friend that I've known since high school. So we'll see how that goes.
Have you shot wedding before?
No.
Are you ready?
I mean, I think that you can and you can't be until you actually do it.
Right.
I had thought about taking down my old stuff on Instagram, like from the very beginning. And then I'm like, no, that's just a part of it all,
Yeah.
that growth, that progression.
So somebody that wants to get into doing this, do you have any advice? If you found that photographer in the pit that looked overwhelmed, like you probably were the first time, what would you say to that person?
You know what? I've actually had a few people reach out to me on social media and message me recently. And that's just been a weird
That's
feeling.
cool. That's
It,
cool.
it is. A lot of people ask me, what I shoot with, and just different, how did you get started doing it? Like, what avenues do you take to get to be at that point when the music starts, type thing. I think I could keep coming back to a lot of the things that you've told me, and that Rock has told me. Um,
Rock Williams,
mhm,
one of my mentors as well.
yeah. Just with the patience and keeping things into perspective. And one of the things that, like, you've told me many times is to push those boundaries, but also to keep in mind the human element of them being people too, and how you visually approach going into shows of, these are people but respect the crew and the security at the venue and all these different things that make it up. And I think I can see now how it's really important to start small and just build up all those different steps that you're not going to learn until you get thrown into those situations.
That's become one of my favorite things, is get to know the security guards at a festival and bring them a water. And by the end of it, heck, I still talk to one of the security guards from 2 years ago from one of the festivals I was at. So, yeah, it's cool. And when stuff goes wrong, they're in your corner, and that's one of the secrets to this is you show everybody with respect. What else? What have we? Oh, what do you shoot with?
So I just upgraded not even a year ago. Um, I was shooting with a Nikon D, what was it, 5100 or 5500? Um, and I had a few lenses for that, and then I just upgraded to a Nikon D750.
Nice. What's your lens of choice?
I only have one so far, so
Wow, you shoot all that with one lens?
yeah,
That's cool.
that's what I've been told a couple of times. But I only have one lens, and it's the 70 to 200 f2.8 Tamron. So
Good lens. That's what you should have if you have one lens right there. So,
yeah.
do you have a home venue? Do you have a place that you consider your home base that you can always fall back to if to get comfortable again?
Yes and no. Um, that's a complex answer because there's a venue called Knuckleheads. It's kind of small, but they don't care if you bring your camera or not, so it's great. It's only with bigger names that I've actually requested a media pass because I'm like, you're too big. Don't want to chance that. But then a lot of times I'll shoot at the Granada in Lawrence, Kansas, and sometimes that can go good and sometimes that can go not so good. So I think that I really don't have like a favorite.
Switching from photography, what music do you like? Who's in your playlist right now? Who's the ones that you focus on?
Oh God, you'd be really shocked with that one.
Probably not.
It honestly, it changes. I do Spotify. I don't pay for it, but that's really my source during the workday. It can range anywhere from Spanish music, EDM, lounge, Texas country. Oh gosh, what's some other stuff I listen to? I don't listen to anything from the 80s. I can't do 80s. I can't. It just can't.
That's interesting.
um, to rock and roll, to blues, because KC is a big city for blues. I love to discover new music and new artists to me, so I'm always open to hearing names and songs and stuff, but I'll really pretty much listen to almost anything. If I can't understand you, like if it's a rock and roll band and I can't understand you, I'm probably not going to listen to it.
I get that. I have a 16-year-old daughter, so I'm like, what? I don't know what they're saying, and I annoy her.
Like Billie Eilish, I just can't.
What? Hold on. I went to Austin City Limits Festival and
Right.
stood for 4 hours in a group of 40,000 15 and 16-year-olds just so my daughter could get up close.
Yeah.
And I get Billie Eilish now. I get it. I understand it. I like listening to her on the headphones. I can't say that I'm a big fan and I'm going to go search her out, but I can listen to Billie Eilish. I see why she's the big star that she is.
Fair enough.
Some of that other stuff I just don't get. Most of the stuff my daughter listens to sounds like a background music for an indie movie, and I don't understand how that's not movie music. How it's stuff they play on the radio. But Billy is different. I get that one, but it's not my alley either.
Fair enough.
So,
Everybody has their own thing.
so besides photography, what else do you like to do?
I love to go eat at hole in the wall restaurants, so to speak, ones that aren't chains. Casey Restaurant Week just started Friday, and it goes for the next week ish. So foodie when I go
One,
into new
it's
places.
one of my passions that to find a new off the wall hidden restaurant.
Yes,
That's right up what I love to do too. So
yeah. Riding. I don't have my license, but riding motorcycles. I love to do things that a lot of people won't. The adrenaline rush. Some of the things that I've done in the last few years, I guess you could say.
you went
Um,
paragliding here recently, didn't you? Or what did you
Deep
do in
sea fishing.
Mexico? No, you did. What did you do in Mexico? I thought it was a hot air balloon or paragliding or
Oh, okay. So a couple of years ago, I did do a hot air balloon ride over the mountains and the pyramids
that's
in
right.
Mexico City, and then most recently we went deep sea fishing,
That looked fun.
and then diving into cenotes, like all those. That's fun too. So,
And
and
you did something with baby turtles. I thought I just saw a couple photos of it, but that looked really cool.
that's something that's really special to me. I used to own turtles, um, red-eared slider turtles, and actually moved with them up here.
Really,
I don't have them anymore, but yeah, so that's something that's really special.
that's cool. And you got to release baby turtles into the ocean. Is that what that was?
Yeah, I've done it a few times, and every time it's just as special. But yeah, we did when we went this last time in December. We released them at sunset out into the ocean, so that was cool.
Just a Thursday for you.
Just
Just just go to Mexico, release turtles on a sunset on the beach. That
and then the next morning wake up and go get a tattoo, and everybody thinks you're crazy,
what
before you hop on the plane to come back to the U.S.
what tattoo did you get?
I got a watercolor of a dahlia flower, which is the national flower of Mexico. So
Where did you get it? It's as long as it's appropriate. So
I got it on the front lower part of my left shin. So that leg is pretty much covered now.
you have more than that one, or just that's the first one?
No, I've got, I think it's 25 now. So I've got a lot of time in a tattoo chair from all my work.
What's your favorite tattoo?
I don't have a favorite, but I will tell you a cool moment though. Um, I have two tattoos that are of songs, and one is from the lyrics of a Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown song. And it was the only song that would calm my soul last year. Every time I put that on, and I'd instantly feel peace if I wanted to go on a road trip or whatever. It's called Ramblin' Bones. So I had this piece put on the front of my shin, and I got the opportunity to interview the entire band at Exit 111. And so I was telling them that basically that story and some backstory of graphing them and meeting them and everything. So they were like, oh, I want to see it. So I pull up my jean pant leg, and like they all come around and start taking a picture of
That's
it.
cool.
They ended up posting it as their first picture on an Instagram, like multi-picture post. So that was a
That's
cool moment.
cool.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go that far and get the tattoo, the band better like it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
what's the other song? Is it?
It's a song called by a band called Fruition. They're a progressive bluegrass band, and it's one of the guys in the band that wrote it. His name is Kellen, and it's called the song is called The Meaning. And so one of the lyrics in there is goes, "All I know about being alive is that life's for the living."
That's deep.
Yeah.
Well, dang. Anything else that you want to talk about that I forgot?
I don't know.
And you're a huge Bucky's fan. You mentioned that earlier, but
Yes.
we all are. But I think you've taken it to another level with your apparel.
You know, I'm I want to get a Bucky's tattoo.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I have all the Bucky stuff, and it becomes a conversation piece at music festivals and stuff. And the most unlikely people coming up to you and telling you how cool Bucky's is, and they love it,
So,
you know?
so I got to say, we're Hello Texas. Anybody really watching this should know what Bucky's is, but it's uh, a convenience store with 600 fuel pumps, and it's as big as a shopping mall, basically. And they sell about as much stuff. And they have the cleanest bathrooms in the world.
Hmm.
We have to uh, whenever we travel, we have to go out of our way, even if it's 60 miles, to go to the bathroom there,
Yes.
even if you have to hold it because they're clean and there's no doubt that we'll be able to go in a clean bathroom. So that's
Oh,
the claim to fame to Bucky's.
I just saw I connected with one of my festival friends um, that I first met at Tumbleweed a couple weeks back. And he was telling me that he has a friend that lives in overseas in, I think, London, he said. He's like, she loves Bucky's. So he showed me a picture of her in a Bucky's onesie. I'm like, I need this in my life now. Take all my money. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
just, I need a dedicated Texan. I can go here. I will Venmo you. Get me something. Though I've talked, when I talk to the Texas musicians and they come up and I'm like, can you bring me some Whataburger? Can you bring me some Bucky's? And they laugh and I'm like,
I,
you really don't get it.
I have a Bucky. I have a Bucky story I want to tell you. I always go to where they used to sell. They stopped doing it here recently, but they used to sell Texas country music. They had the CDs over on the side.
Why did they stop selling?
I don't think they were selling CDs. A lot of people don't buy CDs anymore. They stream it. So I haven't seen the CDs out, but I used to just go there every time to see and buy a CD. I was looking at the CDs and somebody else was there looking at the CDs, and I was holding a JB and the Moonshine Band CD, and I looked up and the guy smiled at me, and it was JB of JB and the Moonshine Band,
That
and
is cool.
I was like, "Is this you?" And he's like, "That is my CD." So we took a selfie together. I'm like, I was blown away by that coincidence. Texas is a big state but a small town. Well, that's all I got, Kaeliegh Grace. Thank you so
Well,
much.
you're welcome.
That was fun, and well, we'll sign off. Miss Kaeliegh Grace from Wildflower Soul Photography. Thank you for joining us tonight,
Thank you for having me.
and you have a good evening.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.